Welcome to Exotic Astrology, ladies and gentlemen. Great to be back to YouTube after 4 months. So, finally, we have completed 9 years of Exotic Astrology. I would like to thank each and every one of you for your support always. And today is a very special video because recently we had the lunar eclipse on 3rd of March. And every year, eclipses keep coming: one eclipse, two eclipses, three eclipses, or maybe sometimes even four. And our lives don't seem to change, right? Because everybody keeps saying in social media, oh, I have had this eclipse in this house, that house, this will happen, that will happen. But it seems there is no change which is actually manifesting in our life. So, why that is happening? And does it actually mean that just because we have had an eclipse, which is applicable for everybody in this universe, does it mean that everything should just magically change for the good or the bad? Well, I have discussed a lot on this topic, but unfortunately, in YouTube, everybody thinks that eclipses will come and yeah, life will never be the same. Well, let me disappoint you a bit because it's not like that. Why? Because eclipses are just transits. Now, of course, they are not just transits, they're very, very, very powerful transits. But at the end of the day, you still need to realize it's a transit. It may be a powerful one, it may be a weaker one, depending on the eclipse, but at the end, it is just a, a transit. That's all. It is not something that completely decides what happens in your life. So then the question is, who decides what happens in your life? Well, you guessed it right. As I have been saying always from the last 9 years, the Mahadasha and the Antardasha and the Pratyantar, they actually decide. Now, when I say Mahadasha, Antar, and Pratyantar, I don't just mean Vimshotri Dasha because there are different Dasha systems. We have Gemini Chara Dasha, we have Narayan Dasha, we have Udu Dasha. There's so many different Dasha systems, right? There's Yogini Dasha also, and most popular, of course, is Vimshotri Dasha. So, you need to understand that level one is the study of the chart. That is the first level. That is like non-negotiable. You cannot dismiss the horoscope. So, for example, what do I mean when I say first is the horoscope? The first means, is there a promise of a particular event, or is there a promise of a person reaching to a particular level or a scale? Is that there in the horoscope? That is something that you need to check first. So, for example, is there a promise of marriage? Will the person get married? Is there a denial of marriage? These are certain things which only the horoscope will tell. Now, when I say the horoscope, it means independent of any Mahadasha, any Antardasha, of any Dasha system, Vimshotri, Yogini, Chara, whatever. Doesn't matter. There are certain things which are there in the horoscope which will happen. So, for example, if there is denial of marriage, then it just does not matter which dasha you are running, which transit you are running, which dasha you are running in, which dasha system, even that does not matter. If there is denial of marriage in the horoscope, then there is no possibility of marriage, no matter which dasha you get, no matter which transit you get. So first is the horoscope. That is infallible. That is like, it's like in Hindi you say na patthar ki lakir. It's like something written on stone, it can never change. So it is like that. No dasha, no transit can override that. But now, suppose you have seen that there is a possibility of marriage, there is no denial of marriage in a person's horoscope. Then the next thing is that you go and check the dashas. All right. Now, what are dashas? Dashas, as you know, they are time periods, right? Where a particular planet decides almost everything that happens in all areas of your life. Now you need to understand the dashas will not necessarily override what the horoscope is saying. So, for example, suppose there is denial of marriage in a person's horoscope, and then there is a planet in the seventh house. Suppose there is Jupiter in the seventh house, all right, and then Jupiter dasha is running. The dasha cannot override the horoscope. So, for example, if, as I said, if there is denial of marriage in the horoscope, then no matter which planet is in the seventh, no matter how long you are running the star of the seventh lord, marriage cannot happen because originally in the horoscope there is denial of marriage. This is something you got to understand, right? But suppose, as I told you some moments back, if there is no denial of marriage, then what should you do? Then the next step is you go and check the dasha. So if you are 25 plus and you are willing to get married, then next is you see when are favorable dashas coming for that particular event of life. So in this case, we are talking of marriage. So that basically means the second house, the seventh house, or the 11th house, or the dasha of the natural significator of marriage, which is Venus for both male and female, of course. Now, you need to understand that once you see this, then you have to use transits. So, for example, suppose you have a promise of marriage in your chart, which means there is no denial of marriage and marriage is possible. Now, you are 25 plus, and suppose when you are 28, then you are running Saturn Mahadasha. Okay, your Saturn Mahadasha is going to start. And this Saturn is either sitting in the second house, seventh house, or 11th house, or is the second lord, or the seventh lord, or the 11th lord. Should I repeat? There, Saturn is sitting either in the second, seventh, or 11th, or is lording the second, seventh, or 11th. Then you know this dasha is very, very, very favorable for marriage. Now you need to see which antar or pratyantar can give you marriage. Now, suppose Mercury is also positive. So let's assume Saturn is in the second house and Mercury is also in the seventh house. I'm just giving very basic example so that you can understand very easily. So then what happens in the Saturn Mercury dasha, Saturn Mahadasha, Saturn Antar dasha, Mercury Pratyantar dasha, you can get some proposal, and then maybe in the next Antar dasha, which is of Saturn Mercury, you may get married. So now, if Saturn is indicating love marriage, then you will meet somebody after Saturn Mahadasha's beginning. You will fall in love, and yeah, you will apparently start a relationship. And then in Saturn Mercury, if there is no breakup or there is no combination of break of marriage, then in Saturn Mercury Antardasha, you may get married at 31, 32, or whatever, depending on when your dasha is starting. So this is how you know. Now, suppose you know, okay, Saturn is indicating love relationship and Mercury is indicating marriage, and I'm 25. And Saturn Mercury is gonna give me marriage. You are very sure of this. Okay. So now what should you do? The next step is you look at transits and eclipses. So for example, now during this dasha of Saturn Mercury, which can be more than 2.5 years, you need to see when are you getting favorable dashas, transits related to these same houses which are indicated in the dasha. So for example, in this case, when is a transit happening in the second house? And when I say when is a transit happening, it means major planets, like slow moving planets. So for example, Saturn, Jupiter, Rahu, Ketu. All right. So is there a transit happening either in the second, seventh, or 11th? Mostly it will happen because we are talking of 4 different planets, right? Mostly one of the planets will most likely transit these houses, either the second, seventh, or 11th. Then within that, you see, okay, now Jupiter is transiting in my second house, or Saturn is transiting in my seventh house, or Rahu or Ketu is transiting in my 11th house. Then next is you see when are eclipses happening in these houses. Okay, then after the eclipses, if it is most likely a solar eclipse, there will be new beginnings. And then you check, okay, when are the fast moving planets transiting? Which are the fast moving planets? Well, of course, you have Mars, then you have Mercury, you have the Sun, you have Venus, and then of course Moon is the fastest, no doubt about it. So then you see, okay, when are these planets transiting these particular houses? Okay, then you know, okay, now finally I've seen my Jupiter is transiting in the second house, Saturn is transiting in the 11th, or maybe Rahu Ketu is transiting in the 7th, either ways. And now maybe in this particular month, maybe September this year, or maybe whatever, August this year, or maybe February next year, slow moving, the fast moving planets, Sun, Mercury, Venus, Mars, they are also transiting in these houses, like, the second house, seventh house, 11th house, either ways. So then you know, okay, this is the time, these 30-40 days is the period where I should have my wedding. That is how you can exactly time events. You need not get worried about predicting about, the exact day. But this is how you can get an idea of when can the marriage happen, when can relationships happen. The same is applicable for career, the same is applicable for property purchase, the same is applicable for childbirth, the same thing is applicable for court cases victory and the same thing is applicable for divorce, defamation, breakup of relationships. The same thing is also applicable for getting fired, job loss. This technique is the basic of astrology and it is applicable everywhere. So first check the horoscope. So for example, in terms of career, if a person is wanting to know how high will I rise in my career, you will see, oh, this person has sun in the 10th house. Oh, you will become IAS officer or you will become a very powerful leader. Well, but you will see it does not happen most of the times. Why? Not because sun in the 10th is not good or it is weak. It is very powerful, but the overall chart is not indicating that. Please understand there are 9 planets, not just one planet, right? There are multiple houses which indicate career. So for example, we have the second house, we have the sixth house, we have the 10th house, we have the 11th house, and we have the karakas for the 10th house, right? So therefore, what is the level of the chart. Now, if the chart is average in terms of career, then sun coming into the sun, then sun dasha sitting in the 10th house or sun lording the 10th house may give the person a decent government job, but it will not be state level civil service exam, or forget UPSC and all this, IAS, IPS, impossible. It will not happen. Okay. But suppose a person has a very powerful chart, and then you have sun in the 10th house or you have moon in the 10th house, and then sun dasha, moon dasha comes, then you can make a prediction that yes, the person will be selected in some prominent government organize some prominent role. Depending on the chart, it could be IS or it could be a state level exam, right? Post. So therefore, this is how you will exactly know what is the level and when will the person achieve. But before all this, please understand, you need to check the overall chart, check the fundamental parameters, the lagna lord, sun, moon, the Karakas of the 10th house. You need to check the D1, the Bhavachali chart, most importantly, and of course the D9 and the D10 for career. D9 to get an idea of the person's internal nature, which is helpful for marriage. And of course, circumstances of a person's profession via the D10. All right. So once you see the D1, the Rashi chart, and of course the Bhavachali chart and the D9 and the D10, then you get a good gist of what is the person's level, and depending on that, you see when are favorable dashas, and then you see transits. All right. Don't go the other way around, because the other way around is very easy. Oh, I have eclipse in the 5th house. What will happen? I have eclipse in the 7th house. What will happen? I have eclipse in the 10th house. What will happen? This will happen. That will happen. And nothing happens in your life, right? So, therefore, please understand, don't do the reverse. Go systematically. First horoscope, the overall chart, then dashas, and then transits. All right. Thank you so much for your time. And if you want a personalized horoscope consultation from me, you'll always find it down in the description section. God is there with you all the time. Just look to him and you will find him for sure.